We've got you covered all season long. Welcome to the BCSN Nation podcast, powered by Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right, here it is, Season 3, Episode 6 of the BCSN Nation podcast. You heard it, powered by Buffalo Wild Wings, the greatest of all times. Brandon Carnes here with Justin Feldkamp and Coach Mike Robb. Gentlemen, we've officially hit the midway point of the high school football season. So my question to you to get this thing rolling, you got any backsies you need to take back or any predictions you are rolling with as the season rolls still?
Nice aqua shirt, by the way. I'm going to go with predictions for teams who I thought would win their respective leagues, conferences, divisions. I've changed them slightly halfway through, but I'm sticking with a number of teams. So here's my list. Whitmer, Napoleon, Ottawa Hills, Oak Harbor, Lima Senior, and St. Francis.
Ooh, Napoleon, the new pick in the Cardinal. There we go.
He's been right.
He's
with
rolling,
Napoleon.
rolling with him, baby. All right, Mike Robb, you got any backsies going back to your DB days?
You know, we're not backpedaling today, and we're going to go forward. So the number one thing here is Region 1 and Division 1 is all about the Northwest Ohio teams having a legit chance to make a decent run.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Depending on where they're set up right now, you got two teams in the top 4, which is Perrysburg and Whitmer, and then you also look down there and you see Findlay, who has a complete chance of still making the playoffs. They just don't want to lose too many more games and fall down to that 15th or 16th spot, where we could potentially see another Northwest Ohio matchup back-to-back, depending on how Perrysburg and Whitmer do. But one thing I'll stay with is Central Catholic is going to win the state championship.
No backsies on that, and no backsies from me. I told you at the beginning of the season, we're ride or die with the Maumee Panthers. A couple tough weeks in a row, a really good battle with Eastwood last week, but they're going to right the ship this week. They're taking on Lake this Friday, so they're going to get back on track. Still in position to make the playoffs. We're all good in Maumee Panther land. And coming up today, we're all good with Agree to Disagree. We'll get our clip of the week, of course, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. And, of course, our Game of the Week preview brought to you by Dunn Chevy in Oregon. And make sure you're here with us every single Wednesday to hear what we're not going to backpedal about. Brand new episodes, 4 p.m. every single week, or anywhere you get your audio. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, or bcsnnation.com/podcast. And make sure you're hitting the follow button at BCSN Sports across any of your social media platforms. And, gentlemen, we're going to get right into it. Agree to Disagree. We'll see if we're butting heads or we're getting along buddy this week. First one, Perrysburg came in last week, laid the beat down on Clay, and officially ended Mason Heinzel's run at Ohio's Mr. Football. Thoughts?
No, I don't think so. I mean, one game out of 10, and based on when the voting is done for that, I think there's a component of the playoff games that could exist for said teams representing potential Player of the Year candidates and Mr. Football candidates. So, no, he's put up plenty. He put up 500-plus individual yards passing and rushing just a couple weeks ago against Findlay. And then I wanted to look at their schedule because they have 5 games left: home against Bowling Green, at Fremont Ross, home against Napoleon, at Southview, home against Rogers. So I think record-wise, which I think, you don't want to vote for a Player of the Year whose team goes 2-8 or whatever.
Sure.
So minimum, Clay should go 6-4. Max out, they go 8-2. So he's still got plenty of opportunities against the Cardinal Division enrollment, similar-sized schools as Clay. But I will say that Perrysburg provided a blueprint on how to defend Mason Heinzel. So I'd imagine that all of those coaches that I just listed off of Clay's future opponents here in the coming 5 weeks, they're going to look at that Perrysburg and say, okay, let's try to do something similar. Granted,
you got to have the guys.
I was just about to say, Perrysburg has the guys on defense. At the beginning of the season, I was told that Perrysburg defense is legit and the offense will come along. And so far, they have done just that. The gauntlet part of Perrysburg's schedule still to play. But no is the final answer. Mason Heinzel still has a shot for Mr. Football credentials.
Yeah, I think if you watch the tape of that game, you're still going to see some plays that Mason Heinzel made that not many, if any, guys in the area are going to make, where he's spinning off guys in the backfield, completing passes. So he's still alive. Your Player of the Year pick still alive in Mr. Ohio football?
Not so fast.
I think it's so fast, sweetheart.
I think it's over for Mason, honestly, and it burns, because if you want to say it comes down to the best player on their team, you got to look at Lima Senior and Mr.
Ooh.
Hall and say,
Hall and Boog Wilson.
I mean, listen, he's got 22,000 plus yards after 5 weeks in the season.
Yeah.
Almost 20-something touchdowns passing. He's killing everybody in Northwest Ohio's numbers.
Yeah.
Probably got twice as many passing yards and touchdowns as Mason Heinchel. They needed that win for him to stay in there to say that he's the best player in this area. And right now, just because we don't cover Lima enough, and we thought it was going to be Ryan Montgomery earlier, I think that the guy in this area is coming out of Lima.
There we go. There's Mike's prediction taking us down south. Some not so great things happened south of Toledo for MAC teams. BG falling to Texas A&M. Toledo making the loss to Western Kentucky down in BG. Gentlemen, this completely ends the MAC's chances at getting a team in this 12-team playoff. Thoughts?
Not
Justin?
so fast.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike's got a not so fast again. He's shutting me down. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I
Humble
think
me.
that it's a really good conference, and we know that. You know,
Right.
you talk about the teams that lost and what kind of pedigree they have. If you look at the Toledo Rockets and you just say, you know, this team wins out with one loss and win a MAC championship, I think they got the best chance to still make their way to the championship.
100%.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
to
with
the
you.
playoffs. So I don't think it's over for any of the MAC teams. I just think that there's no more losses that could be had.
Yeah, the big thing for Toledo there in that scenario is they beat BG and then they beat NIU in both of those matchups, boosting the resume again. And I know you're going to bring it up. BG's 2 losses are about as 2 good losses on the road as you can have for the Falcons.
Yeah, 1 touchdown games at Texas A&M and at Penn State. And
Tough places to play traditionally.
Yeah, seeing some quotes from Coach Scott Loeffler. He said that he thought Texas A&M presented more troubles and issues for his team than Penn State did. So I say no. The chances for a MAC team to get there are totally still there. I think
I'm happy to be wrong on this, by the way.
I think there's a chance. BG has 2 losses against power ranked teams, power 5 teams. Toledo lost to Western Kentucky. I could still see, I guess as I think about this off the top of my head, I could see Toledo losing a MAC game. I don't think a MAC team getting to the college football playoff is totally dependent on them running the table in the conference schedule.
Okay.
I could see a loss there and then a win in the MAC championship game, and it's still going down to that conference championship weekend.
Right.
You got teams like Liberty, Memphis lost last week.
Yeah.
You got UNLV and their quarterback who transferred from Holy Cross said that he was going to get some type of NIL money. And after 4 games, he's saying he's not playing anymore. UNLV is undefeated, so they got issues there.
Trouble for the Rebs.
Yeah, so I think that there's plenty of opportunities left, but you can't have a totally blemished record to get
No,
there.
100%.
You're going to have to be 10-2 going into a championship weekend, I think, and then win a championship and go 11-2, and that could get you in. But I think there's not only parity at the Power 5 level, but I think there's parity at that Group of 5 level as well.
Sure. Yeah, listen, again, I am happy to be wrong. I'm happy if both of them make it as the 10, 11, 12 seed, wherever it's going to be, make their way into the playoffs, let them get a berth, let them get a chance. That's what this 12-team playoff is all about. And what we're about right now is our Family House Player of the Week. Cisco, wipe me into the graphic. All right, we're going to Panther land for our Player of the Week. Isaiah Hayward for Whitmer had himself a day, as did basically anybody who could score points against Southview last week. 3 catches, 79 yards with a touchdown. Oh, by the way, brought the opening second half kickoff back for a touchdown. Mike Robb, I'm sure you loved watching that because the blockers were out and they were running for Isaiah Hayward, giving him a path. And that offense in general had a day, but Isaiah Hayward, a breakout performance for the Panthers last week.
Yeah, he got offers earlier this school year, you know, at their junior day, at their showcase day, and you know he hadn't really had much attention since then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brady Ford's been finding a lot of different options,
Slinging the pill around
all over the field. So you know he hasn't got a lot of attention. So it was nice for him to have that breakout, to being their star guy, the D1 guy on their team. But as the season gets going, you'll start seeing the ball land in his hands more because he is the X factor on their offense, and he had the game that he was supposed to.
Yeah, especially guys start keying a little bit more toward TJ Hutch in the season he's been having. Gives Isaiah Hayward a little more room to run on that one. Our Player of the Week from Family House. We'll make it together. Isaiah Hayward, and we'll make it right back here together after a quick 30-second spot from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings, buy one, get one free. Boneless Thursdays saved me so much cash. I can finally do everything I've ever wanted in life, like skydiving. You ready? No, this was a mistake, a huge mistake. I want to go back. I want to go back. Go! Yeah, I'll probably just use the money I saved to get more buy one, get one free boneless wings at B-Dubs. No brainer. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At participating locations, not valid with other offers or discounts. See website or app for details.
All right, we're going to head back to week 5 from our game of the week. Last week was rivalry week across BCSN, across multiple sports. It capped off with our game of the week Friday, St. Francis, St. John's, and the Knights pulled out their first win in the matchup in a decade. And it was a good time to be a St. Francis Knight on Friday night, Justin.
Yeah, 11 years to the day from which St. Francis last beat their rival, St. John. So the rivalry is clearly better off. Just look at the one that we know all about in this area, Ohio State, Michigan, for really 2 decades. Ohio State dominated Michigan, and it was
Right. You need some back and forth in there to get it to be going again.
100%. So Michigan wins 3 in a row. That only juices up this upcoming 2024 version of the game. So, yeah, this is what high school football is all about. We had a little bit of trash talk going back and forth and some confidence now for St. Francis, and they got off to a fast start. I think that was one of the big things in this game. They jumped out to an early lead and then took a 2-touchdown lead, and then you can control the clock. You can maybe be a little more conservative and use the run game and maybe go on some sustained drives to keep St. John's offense off the field. So I think that was key. And then I mentioned at the top there that I think St. Francis has a shot to win their AA division. They are no longer in the Central Division, top division in the Detroit-based CHSL. But I think they got a Week 7 game at Lumen Christi. Lumen Christi is the Division 7 state champ. So you're state champ, you're like, oh, man, that's a big test. However, let's keep in mind that smaller school, Division 7, that's kind of in the, think of in our area, Whiteford, Ottawa Lake, Whiteford, Division 7, Division 8 team over the last few recent years when they've won some state titles.
Sure.
So Lumen Christi is the team that is looming on the schedule for St. Francis.
Wordplay.
But they have a shot to run the table. And a coach in the area told me that he thought that St. Francis is a little more legit than a second-tier AA division in that league, that they could contend with some of the central division is what they call it, the top teams in that Catholic high school league.
Yeah, they gave Perrysburg a run for their money as the season kicked off. Coach 𝗦𝗫𝘀 said, the streak was always on everybody's mind. You can say all these things leading up to the game. We're not going to talk about the streak. We're not going to talk about the rivalry. It's another game. A 10-game losing streak to your rival team is going to be on your mind. It's going to make you come out and play. And Eli Beal, real deal Beal, 29 carries, 192 yards, 3 more touchdowns. Kid's having a heck of a season for St. Francis.
Yeah, and you just knew what was going to happen. Again, just seeing these guys in the summertime and watching them, and we've had 7-on-7s. You just saw that he moved at a different pace.
Sure.
And St. Francis is definitely the beneficiary of that. Right now, you're looking again, and you talk about Eli Beal and what he can do. I think it's really about Corey Swartz in the way that he stepped up. Being able to get those big touchdown rushes and throwing the ball and playing with confidence. Last year, his big thing was he would never run the football. He'd get some space to run and move around. He'd never do it, and now he's able to get out the pocket. You see him running with confidence, and now this offense becomes a lot more explosive with him. And having Eli complementing with Brown, I mean, that uncle-nephew combo is just crazy.
Yeah, they're having a lot of fun on the offensive side. For Coy Hammock and the St. John's side of things, he got the ball running. He was kind of alternating back and forth with Paul to start the game, but he finishes 21 of 34, 277, 3 touchdowns. So hopefully that rights the ship. They made a late comeback. It was kind of ugly. They started to make a push late, so hopefully this helps right the ship for St. John's as they head into CHSL play or continue CHSL play. They got Brother Rice this Friday, so a get-back game hopefully for St. John's through that one. First, now we're going to get into our clip of the week, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. We're heading north of the border. All right, here we are, the Bedford Kicking Mules, and Isaac Henman was kick. He did everything but kick in this one. It felt like receiving touchdown here, gets it from Jacob Spoonmore. We'll see the next clip, rushing touchdown for Isaac Henman. Later in the game, tosses one himself to Spoonmore. The trifecta. You got 3 of us on the left side of your screen. You got 3 different kinds of touchdowns for Isaac Henman in this one for Bedford, and they put a hurt on the Pioneers on Friday night.
Bedford has been a fun team to watch the last couple of weeks. They're kind of finding their stride. They took some lumps earlier in the season. But I think that with this creativity here, you got a quarterback going up against a defensive end on this play.
Well, Philly special,
where,
baby.
Yeah, I like the toss back there, and you get it from one athlete to another who's capable of throwing a pretty nice on the mark ball
ball
in
from
stride.
Spoonmore.
So that's been good for them offensively. And now you go on to see them take the next step where they contend and they compete against the top echelon teams on the remaining part of their 5 games to go here. So they showed me some stuff against a Pioneer team.
And Spoonmore made your predictions look good on Game Day
I
Tailgate.
did
You
say
said he was
that
going to find
Bedford, I said Bedford would win, and then Spoonmore would make a big play. He made a lot of big plays, and yes, made me look good.
Made you look good. I know you were excited watching guys like Spoonmore on Friday make plays because those are guys you've known for a while.
Yeah, again, known Spoonmore and Hinman, these kids since they were, pups, 5th, 6th grade, and watching them dominate. And Spoonmore was a quarterback for people who didn't know.
Well, there you go.
So
that's
the
why he
pedigree
looked
for
good
that
on that
one.
halfback pass.
go.
Absolutely. So he has that in his bag, and that's what being an athlete is. And that's one thing I just want to preach there. Be an athlete. Don't just say, hey, I'm a quarterback, I'm a
Pigeonhole
receiver.
yourself, right?
Yeah, do everything, learn every position, so then that way coaches can trust you in situations just like that and make Justin look good.
Yeah, I don't know the last time we saw somebody throw, catch, and rush for a touchdown in the same game. So a heck of a night for Isaac Henman. The Bedford Kicking Mules rolled to a 49-14 win over Pioneer. You want more clips just like this one, head over to our TikTok. It's at BCSN Sports. Hit that follow button. We've eclipsed 9,000 plus. We're looking to get to 10K. Hit the follow button. Don't miss any of our clips. And now we're going to head to Sylvania for our student section of the week, presented by Unison Health. Proud sponsor for high school athletics right here on BCSN. Northview, the winners of the belt this week. A tough test on Friday. You're going to need to bring the energy, bring the noise as they take on Perrysburg. The belt's going to be there. Sherwin's going to be there.
Will be there.
Oh,
That's
we
a
got
packed house. That's a great picture.
Hey, they're
right
ready
there.
to go.
Northview,
The
ready to
result
rock.
on the field needs to replicate what you're seeing in the stands from Northview.
Absolutely.
Mike Robb on Friday, because they're going to need all the help, all the support they can get. A tough Perrysburg team coming to town. But the students will be ready. They're going to hype up the Wildcats. The belt's going to be there. If you got a reason to come play for the belt, baby. And you want the belt yourself, hashtag SSOTW. Every day of the week, not just Friday. Get us out there. Get the belt yourself. And now we're going to move into some Week 6 action, gentlemen. Game preview, O'Hills at Northwood. Ottawa Hills coming off some great games, averaging 10.5 points on defense since Week 2. They're 4-1, taking on Ken James's Rangers, who started the season we talked about very, very young. They seem to have found their stride and getting some wins under their belt. They have a 3-game win streak, outscoring their opponents 134-33. Granted, the record of those opponents is 2-12, but their teams you're supposed to beat. And if you're a young Ken James team, that's where you get right and find your stride, right?
Yeah, I think Coach James knew that they would have some bumps in the road early on playing such a young lineup with guys who have not had any varsity experience as of late August of this year, but they've gotten that experience and they've beaten the teams you're supposed to beat. As a head coach, that's what you're thinking.
Can't ask for more.
We got to win the games that we're supposed to win on paper, based on the matchups, based on the results that you've seen already throughout the course of the season. And keep in mind, this is their last year in the TAC.
Yeah.
So the TAC has unfortunately gone down in stature when it comes to football playing teams. And to keep the football going within the TAC, they have taken football-only members mainly towards the Indiana border, the Montpeliers, et cetera, to play in the league to keep it viable for 11-man football. We've seen Toledo Christian drop down to 8-man football. But they want to go out with a bang. Northwood does, and they're going to the SBC, Sandusky Bay Conference River Division next year. But these guys were 3-7 last year, so they've reached the win total from what they had last year. You got players like Julian Chappell, Anthony Gomez, Jason St. Clair who have delivered for them. But on the flip side, you got Ottawa Hills, and they got playmakers everywhere. Running back,
Everywhere.
tight end, interior linemen, wide receivers. I really like. I've seen them 2 times up front, and then had a bunch of highlights on Friday nights and calling their games. So they, yes, have a lighter schedule, and I'm not sure of the crop of talent coming up through the junior high ranks and freshmen and sophomores at Ottawa Hills, but I would like to see Ottawa Hills tested a little better, and they're kind of a victim of circumstances with the TAC being quote-unquote down. But they have beaten the teams that they're supposed to beat, and I'd like to maybe see them get battle-tested for a potential deeper playoff run. They went on one last year with a lot of talent, graduated some seniors. But that Week 10 matchup, I've been talking about it on the podcast a number of times in a row here. Eden at Ottawa Hills. Essentially, in my opinion, that's going to be the de facto TAC title match in Week 10. That's at Ottawa Hills.
Yeah, you talked about the weapons. We've talked about them before here for Ottawa Hills. Chase Miller set the O-Hills career record with his 58th career passing touchdown. And boy, oh boy, did Rocco Pillarelli have himself a day. 259 yards, Mike Robb, on 7 carries. That's 37 yards a carry. Get him the ball as many times as possible if he's getting me 37 a pop.
Yeah, I'm no mathematician, but I know I want that on my team.
If I can have a third of the field every snap, I'll take it.
Yeah, you give a guy like that a bone and let him just keep going, and that's one thing that you like about Coach Carter and what he's done with his program is he's not afraid to give the ball to his playmaker and let them go with it.
He's got plenty of them.
And that's one thing that coaches got to get comfortable with is trusting your guys, and if you know that someone's going to have a day, put the ball in their hand. A lot of times you want to spread the ball around and get it to somebody else, make everybody
the hot
happy.
Hand.
Yeah, don't make everybody happy. Win the football game, and
if
then everybody
Steph ain't missing
happy.
threes, I'm giving Steph the shot.
Absolutely. So
Exactly.
you look at the defense. I like the way they play, but this will be a test. I think Northwood is not a team to sleep on. They do have some guys that's been getting better on that JV level. I'm not going to say everything I know about that team, but they got some weapons, and we'll see what happens here on Friday.
Yeah, should be a high-octane clash between the way these two offenses have played the last few weeks, so hopefully that one shakes out. That'll be at 7 p.m. on the BCSN Plus app this Friday, but now no more time to waste. It is time for our Game of the Week preview, brought to you by Dunn Chevy in Oregon. Cisco, hit the wipe. Let's go. You want a big test in Week 6? We've got it for you. Whitmer at Anthony Wayne, a massive clash in the NLL Buckeye. The 4-1 Panthers take on the unblemished 5-0 Anthony Wayne Generals. And this is going to be a battle. We've seen Whitmer's offense be explosive since that Central Catholic game, but this is the Anthony Wayne defense that's given up 10.8 points per game. You've got the unstoppable force meets immovable object. How's it shaking out, Justin?
All right, well, I'll put it this way. Massive playoff points on the line, especially on Whitmer's side this week and next week, because if Whitmer wants that top playoff seed, Mike Robb was talking about it in Region 1, Division 1. They're 4 seed right now. They got to win this week and win next week, Anthony Wayne and then Perrysburg, because afterwards it's Northview, Findlay, and Springfield. Not as many playoff points are going to be coming to the Panthers with wins over those teams. So these 2 weeks, this Friday and next Friday, paramount for Whitmer. I think good weather, decent fall weather. If it's not raining, there's going to be 6,000-ish people there inside Schaller Stadium in White House. We'll be there for game day tailgate. Myself, Kriegel, and Godfrey Lewis will be ready to rock. Remember, this time last year, it was at the end of last year's season, it was a 3-way tie for first place in the NLL Buckeye. Whitmer, Anthony Wayne, and Findlay. It is a outright opportunity for both of these teams and Perrysburg as of right now to run the table and get that outright title. And I've been to a number of Whitmer practices, and they have all told me numerous times, outright is what they want in the NLL Buckeye. And this is going to be a clash of quality teams on both sides of the ball, even on special teams. Whitmer's special teams has taken a big step forward this year. They've gotten touchdowns. They've gotten blocked punts. So I think that could be a difference maker. And then Coach Ken Winters and Coach Andy Brungard told me that this game will be one up on the trenches, who runs the ball the most and who has the most rushing yards and can control the clock, then who doesn't make mistakes. And if one team makes 4 mistakes and the other team makes 3, that could be the difference maker in this one.
Yeah, the running game is where I'm looking at this, because you look back to Whitmer and Central Catholic, they couldn't stop the run. All right, Central ran the ball however they wanted to, and you put Grant Kinney and Braden Gardner behind that line of scrimmage. It's a run game, maybe not the same quality of Sylvester and Morgan, but it's akin to what they had to deal with taking on Central Catholic.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, Whitmer has the most talented roster in Northwest Ohio, hands down. They should win this game. Let's just call it what it is. Anthony Wayne is not going to back down to them, and that's where it's going to come down to. This game's going to come down to coaching. When you talk about talent, it's Whitmer all day. They got the offensive line. Who else has a 5-star offensive lineman right now?
My papers say nobody.
Okay, all right. You got that. Look at the big boys up front. And you get Joey Morales back this week as well. So you get a lot of things happening for your program. You got a quarterback that's red hot. But Grant Kinney, he finds a way to get it done.
Just makes plays.
They run the quarterback extremely well. They take advantage of the defense. And this is a Ken Winters game where he's going to have to find a way to stop this offense. And their defense usually plays solid. It's about scheme, and that's simply it here. I don't care what anybody say in this game. Anthony Wayne could take this game and turn it into a lopsided victory if Whitmer don't show up.
Yeah, you make those mistakes. And this is not an Anthony Wayne team that is just defense. I said they give up 10.8. They score 40 points a game.
Yeah,
they can get it done on both sides of the ball. So it really comes down to, like you said, scheme. Can we stop Grant Kinney from just making explosive plays when you could get 3rd and 11? Does that turn into a first down, and now we're backpedaling again?
Yeah, and remember, these two teams have split the last 2 regular season battles. And the offensive line, Grant Kinney and Braden Gardner, the quarterback and the running back, get a lot of publicity because they're streaking for touchdowns. But those guys up front, Braden Cole, Max Grabarczyk, Owen Palmer, Daniel Wing, Aiden Lohmeyer, and Brody Sweet have done a great job in creating those lanes, opening up those big holes. We've seen some massive Chevy Silverado type, big time holes for them to get through, and that will be interesting to see if they can continue to do that against a strong defensive front for Whitmer. And I'm curious how they approach this one defensively, if you're talking about Whitmer, because are they going to blitz and put pressure on Kinney? Yeah. Can they believe in the defensive backs to come up and make a tackle where it's not where we've seen Grant Kinney get through 1 or 2 defensive guys and then just shuck them off and then sprint for a touchdown? Or
you need helmets around the ball.
Yes, or is it going to be swarmed to the ball? And okay, Grant Kinney, we're going to give you 4 yards, but we're not going to be a 44 yards.
That's a good plan. Get guys around Grant Kinney, make the stop. Let us know who you think is going to win this. Head over to our Twitter or our X page. Vote on our Game of the Week poll that ends Thursday at noon. And now we're going to head back in time to Bedford land. We were there earlier. We're going back for our BCSN era athlete this week. Top 40 athlete of the BCSN era, Joey Weimer, a dominant force for the Bedford Kicking Mules on the baseball diamond. Played football, played basketball. He was all-state, all-region, all-district selection. They were district champs his junior and senior season on the baseball diamond. Got it done in the classroom, too, a 3.5 GPA all 4 years with the Mules. Went to Cincinnati for college, played in 122 career games with the Bearcats, and then selected in the 4th round of the MLB draft in 2020 by the Milwaukee Brewers, where he's played 153 career MLB games with the Brewers and the Reds, got 13 career homers, 42 career RBI. Joey Weimer just gets the job done. He's one of our top 20 male athletes of the BCS era, and we got some more jobs to get done after a 30-second break from Buffalo Wild Wings.
I've saved so much money enjoying Buffalo Wild Wings BOGO half-off traditional wing Tuesdays. I can finally afford everything I've ever wanted in life. Wings. All I ever wanted was more wings. So yeah, buy one, get one half-off traditional wings is the perfect deal for me and my lifetime yearnings. I value it more than literally anything. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At participating locations, not valid with other offers or discounts. See website or app for details.
All he wants is wings, and all we want is some Friday night football with some Thursday mixed in. Upcoming games list, throw it up there, Cisco. Let's see what we got. First and foremost, Thursday, Bowser at Waite, 6 p.m. on BCSN. I can't leave out the Thursday game. We talked about A-Dub and Whitmer. Game day tailgate will be there. Summerfield at Whiteford, north of the border. Napoleon at Fremont Ross. Detroit Jesuit taking on St. Francis. BG at Clay. Rogers at Start Friday night. And then O-Hills Northwood, which we talked about. Mike Robb, something stand out to you there? Or are you just going to pitch me my Thursday night City League action?
Oh no, I'm gonna love my City League action.
Amen.
We talk about the NLL enough. We got to talk about the City League, so we're gonna talk about Rogers at Start. This is a game where Start has to come in and just take care of business. But watching Rogers last week, Coach Rashawn Wilson is very aggressive. He kicked like 4 or 5 onside kicks in a row and got them all.
You need the ball to score points. He's going to do it.
And so Start has to be disciplined and come in and ready for this game if they want to have that Week 10 showdown with the Spartans of Lima.
All right, Justin, your chance. What's up there that's piquing your interest?
Look at that Napoleon at Fremont Ross, our top recruit, Caden Malley from Fremont Ross, offensive lineman going to Kent State. He is a big boy. He had 2 older brothers. One of them played at Akron. So look for that on Game Day Tailgate and on Football Friday on 13 ABC on Friday night at 11 o'clock. But, and then St. Francis. Hey, you have success. can you play and win as an expected team to play and win? That's the test for St. Francis from here all the way through week 10.
All right, that'll do it for us for episode 6 here of the podcast. We'll be right back next Wednesday, 4 p.m. for a brand new episode of the BCSN Nation podcast, or catch us anywhere you get your audio formats, podcasts on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, wherever you get them, bcsnnation.com/podcast. Follow at Justin Feldkamp, at Coach_Mike Robb, at BCSN Sports. We'll be here for a brand new episode next week, break down what we saw, and then get you ready for what's going to be week 7. We're out. See you next week.